Bulls Nation, after close to a week off of playing basketball, we've been given a game against the Oklahoma City Thunder in which we all thought we should compete, and we did compete. But at the end of the day, a shocking second half, very, very, very poor decision making, and a lot of questionable things done. Ended up blowing this game against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it's not going to be easy to talk about. I'm extremely upset and frustrated right now. I'm going to try my best to keep my composure, but there are some things that I want to say. So without further ado, let's talk about the Bulls versus the OKC Thunder right now. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got the Chicago Bulls versus the OKC Thunder game reaction. If you guys only watched the second half, you thought the Bulls might have sliced this game up by 40 or so, because that's where the trajectory of this game was going. But if you stayed through the whole game, you would have seen the massive disappointment that the Chicago Bulls performed with in that second half. Before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think needs to be done in order to fix a result like this? To find a way to prove to teams, to prove to ourselves that we could be better than this performance today. If you don't know the scoreline, look, the scoreline might be generous, but the scoreline was 127 to 125. Bulls fall to the OKC Thunder in overtime. Now you might be thinking by the scoreline, well, it's a close game. The Bulls must have competed. OKC have done decently this year. It's all good. It's fine. Well, the thing is, if you watch the game in the second half, the Bulls were up by 22 points in the second half. In the third quarter alone, we gave away around 10 turnovers. In the fourth quarter and the third quarter, we gave away around 16 turnovers. The Bulls all the way around had around 23 turnovers. Again, this is the last time I checked. In overtime, there could have been more. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. But the Chicago Bulls need to find better ways to stay in the game, to keep themselves in the game. At the end of the day, when you're up by 22 points, does a good team let that lead slide? Does a good team let that deficit come down to even close to that? The answer is no. The Chicago Bulls are a young team. They're going to be inconsistent. They're going to give up leads. Giving up a 22-point lead, having 23 turnovers in a game, I don't care who you are, that should not be acceptable with the Chicago Bulls. Players need to be held accountable for that. Game management in the fourth quarter once again. Zach LaVine blew 2 buzzer beaters today. Bad shots on both of them. And to be fair, no one helped him out. No one gave him an open shot. No one moved or cut to the basket. It was basically give the ball to Zach, double team, who cares? Shoot the ball. We must be better. We have to be better. It's frustration all the way around. This game is the pinnacle of why the Chicago Bulls have failed to make the playoffs in so long. We simply can't give away games like this. We can't give away games where we're up by 20. Look, if that was the LA Lakers or if that was the Detroit Pistons, the best to the worst, if we give up a 22-point lead to anybody, that is not acceptable as a team, as a basketball team, as a professional NBA basketball team. Look, full credit to the OKC Thunder. Of course, they played hard, but they were not the better team. The Bulls are better than the OKC Thunder, and we showed that in the first half. But if we can't play consistently, if we can't find ways to limit our turnovers, we will not get anywhere in this season. And we've been saying it for the longest time. The turnovers will get reduced over time. Billy Donovan is under a new... is coaching a very young team that's under a new complete offense and defense. Things will get better in that retrospect, and I still believe that. But games like this, you cannot give away. It's easy and simple to comprehend. What makes this even worse is that when we did concede that 22-point lead in one quarter, we managed to bring ourselves up by 9 in the fourth. And then once that was done, and once we ended up yet again blowing a lead, we sent it to overtime. And look, we could talk about the game management. We could talk about Zach LaVine. This has been the 5th game, I believe, where Zach LaVine has taken a very tough contested shot in the final stretches of the game. And we lose. We've lost every single one except for the Portland game. I mean, that says it all. That says it all. If we move to individual performers, look, the stats look good, don't they? I mean, at the end of the day, we went to overtime. A lot of players shared the ball, got their stats. But what doesn't show is the turnovers. And look, shout out to Garrett Temple. Shout out to Garrett Temple. I think he was the only player on this team to not have a turnover for the Chicago Bulls. Like, that just shows it all. Thaddeus Young didn't even get on the floor that much. He's my must-improve player, by the way. But let's keep it going. Wendell, we'll start off with Zach LaVine, obviously, 35 points, 6 assists, 7 rebounds. Zach LaVine, a killer on the scoring side once again. But you have 6 assists, you have 6 turnovers. That is not acceptable. If you're meant to be a top-level guard, point guard, shooting guard, doesn't matter. 6 turnovers is shocking and should not be acceptable. There needs to be accountability. Yes, is Zach LaVine our best player? Absolutely. Is Zach LaVine a franchise player? Many people believe so. Does Zach LaVine deserve a max contract? Most people think so. But 6 turnovers and poor shot selection in the final stretches of the game, we must do better than that. That should not be something we should let slide because it's Zach LaVine is our best player. I don't care who you are. When you have 6 turnovers, when you have 4 turnovers, that's borderline unacceptable. We excelled our turnover rate dramatically today, and we were already leading the league in turnovers. That needs to be something that needs to be changed within this team. Kobe White had a great night. 22 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. I believe he only had 3 turnovers. Everybody besides Zach LaVine had at least 3 or 2 turnovers today. Every single player. So there you go. Wendell Carter had a great night offensively and defensively. 16 points, 2 assists, 11 rebounds. Got a nice double block today. But again, the same problem still consists with Wendell Carter. In overtime, Mike Muscala, 3-point shooter. Very well-known 3-point shooter, very capable 3-point shooter. The scouting report, everybody knows this. Wendell Carter is still going all the way back to the paint to stop Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or anybody on the screen. If there's a 3-point shooter, you should know exactly what to do. How is Wendell Carter meant to be this fantastic defensive player, but can't guard a simple pick and roll or can't guard a pick and pop? At the end of the day, people need to help him learn, but he needs to be responsible. He needs to be held accountable. How many games are we going to let this slide with Wendell Carter where he's stuck in the paint? He doesn't want to go up on the guards. He blitzed all the time under Jim Boylan. The commentator said that, and that's something I agree with. He blitzed all the time against other teams last year. But simply now, he's just one of those people that just stands in the paint and wait for someone to just blatantly drive at him so he can get for a block. That's not the right way to play. Wendell Carter has to do better. He's the only one as well. Thaddeus Young, for the limited time he did that, he got up on Shai. He ended up like stepping up to these guards. Larry Markkinen did it as well. Where was everybody else? Where was Wendell Carter? Where was Wendell Carter when the pick and rolls were happening? That's why they put him in those pick and rolls. He has to do better. Patrick Williams, a great night for Patrick Williams. I'm so happy with Patrick Williams. 14 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds. Patrick Williams, look, at the end of the day, there are many players you can fault. You can't fault Patrick Williams for our loss. I mean, at the end of the day, he was efficient. He doesn't get the best shots. He doesn't get the most shots on the team. So getting 14 points with very limited shots at a high efficiency with 7 rebounds, getting steals and blocks today. What could you say about Patrick Williams? He's definitely not at fault, in my opinion, for blowing the lead the way that we did. Larry Markkinen had a good night, 16 points and 6 rebounds. The only positive about today's game, in my opinion, was that we got to see Larry Markkinen return, and I thought he had a decent game today, especially for a game that it was his comeback game. Look, he missed a lot of shots. He missed a lot of threes. I think that was expected. No one's going to come in after 2-3 weeks off and just not miss a shot. That's not how it's going to be. We need to work with Larry Markkinen and get him more involved every single game. And hopefully he'll go back to the free throw line. He'll go back to the mid-range, take those layups. That's what we're going to need from him. We got Otto Porter with 8 points and 8 rebounds. Decent game from Otto Porter. Denzel only had 4 points, 3 assists, 4 rebounds. And Thaddeus Young had 2 points, 4 assists, and 1 rebound. Look, the Bulls have a lot to work on. It's as simple as that. We can't hide from this. This is something that we're going to have to take head on as a team and as fans. We can't hide from this. We can only voice our frustration with a loss like this. 22-point deficit. Last season, the OKC Thunder did the same thing to us. We were 18 points up last season and we conceded that game in the second half. We did the same thing here. The Bulls need to learn from their mistakes. The Bulls need to not repeat history. And that's exactly what they've done today. So look, you can say whatever you like about all of our players. You can say whatever you like about this team. You could say that we're growing. I don't care how far we're growing. I don't care how good of a team we'll become. You look at games like this, and this is the exact reason why we don't get anywhere. This is the exact reason why we don't make the playoffs. Now, are we going to make the playoffs? We still have a very good chance. I'm not ever ruling out the Bulls until it's physically impossible. But a game like this, we needed to take under our belt. We needed to take with stride, and we didn't do that. We have to be better. Now, let's go into the must-improve player. I'm picking Thaddeus Young. So many turnovers from Thaddeus Young. He had 3 turnovers, I believe. Barely got himself on the floor. I don't know why Thaddeus Young barely played today. There are many players. You can even put Zach LaVine in this category because 6 turnovers, I don't care how many points you have. You can't have 6 turnovers in the game and expect to win it. You can't have 23 turnovers overall and expect to win the game. And we didn't win the game. And I think Thaddeus Young, in retrospect to his contribution to the game, I think he has to do a little bit better. There's a lot of players that have to do a little bit better. I mean, even that final shot of the game, Denzel Valentine, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing in the middle of the court? Go to the corner. Find a way to get open. We needed a 2. If you cut to the paint, there was 3 or 4 seconds. You could have done something. You could have got an open layup. You could have got a 3. Find a way to get open. And he just ran into the middle of the court and made things 10 times harder for Zach LaVine to send us to second overtime or win the game. We didn't do it. We didn't do it, and that's our own demise at the end of the day. My player of the game, I'm not giving it to Zach LaVine. I don't care how many points he has. A turnover for me is what ticks me off with Zach LaVine. I don't care how good of a game you have. If you have 6 turnovers, if you're 6 assists and 6 turnovers, you're basically not contributing on the playmaking side because you're turning the ball over just as much as you are passing it to a good player. My player of the game is Coby White. Nearly a triple-double today. 22 points, 7 assists, 9 rebounds. He is proving himself to be better playmaker. He's finding his way into playmaking, and he's getting better on the board, something that we don't really talk about with Coby White. He's crashing the boards. He's playing a lot of minutes. He played 44 minutes tonight. I think he deserves a lot of praise for his performance. Again, the Bulls don't deserve praise at all in terms of the actual scoreline. The Bulls now are 4-8. We should have been 5-7, but we are 4-8. This is a game that we should have won. Another wasted opportunity, very similar to the Kings game. We wasted that. We were up in front and we conceded a lead in the 4th. We conceded 2 leads in this game. And once again, we fall to 4-8. The next game is against the Dallas Mavericks. I think Luka Doncic should be playing in this game. I'm not sure if Porzingis will be back or not. I haven't really kept up with the Mavericks, but that's the game that we have next. And again, that Dallas game becomes important because this week we should go at least 1-1, and we blew this game very, very easily. As a matter of fact, we blew this game in the second half. We gave that second half to them, and they took it and ran, and we lost that game. We should have won this game, and we didn't. So at the end of the day, the Chicago Bulls have no one to blame but themselves for that performance. And now they have to try and find a way to beat the Mavericks, because if you lose to the Mavericks, then this week has been piss poor for the Chicago Bulls. Very, very, very upsetting. And again, it's frustration. It's venting out your frustrations. It's not easy to witness your team blow a lead like that. I mean, there's so many... Look, at the end of the day, it's going to happen, but that doesn't mean it's ever acceptable. Look, there are going to be teams, 2 good teams that concede leads. Like, in the playoffs, the Clippers conceded leads to the Nuggets nearly every single game, and the Nuggets won the series. But that doesn't mean it's acceptable or understandable. Oh, they're a good team. That it's okay. Look, the Thunder have been very, very decent, but that doesn't mean the Chicago Bulls should give up that opportunity to win that game. And we did that. And what's worse is that Zach LaVine looks like he was injured at the end of that game. He was hobbling to the locker room. Hopefully nothing serious, because as much as you want to criticize Zach LaVine today, without Zach LaVine, we're not winning a game. So hopefully Zach LaVine can improve and also be ready for that Mavericks game, which is the next game. It's frustration, it's sadness, it's being stunned. I'm still stunned looking at that scoreline. I can't believe what the Bulls did today, and it's not a good thing. So hopefully the Dallas Mavericks game picks up. I'm going to leave it here before I just go into a ball of rage. The last thing I want to do, I'm very, very close to it as well, is just go and scream and rant. I don't want to be that type of guy, but when you see performances like that, it's very hard to keep your emotions in check. So, gonna end it here. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. I'm very, very sorry. On behalf of the Chicago Bulls, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for what the Bulls put you through today, because you were on the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, just like that. The Bulls must do better. Take care and peace.